So now we'll have to select him as the employee user details here. Instead of creating a new user all over again, enter the username here and you can create the user account or link it to this. In case you create a new username here, you have to all over again assign all the roles to him. He is a new user. So you'll have to assign the system administrator that is called security console, IT security manager role, application implementation consultant role, and all the general ledger roles that you have given so far, all have to be assigned to the user. That is the reason why we are linking up the existing user. That means we are converting the existing user as an employee user by giving the employment details. So we have given the employment details like last name, date of joining, hire date, and email, and any phone numbers you have got, work numbers also you can give the enter name. You're not creating a new user, you are converting the existing user for your to the employment with the employment details. So now he is created as a person. Person type is employee. The legal employer is Avanti Constructions Company and business unit is Avanti Civil Constructions Business Unit. System allows you to select any of the business units. That is a bug in the system, but you need to select only the business unit that we want to work with. Our company is construction company. The company will have what are the business units we have, then only we'll have to select it here. But system by mistake, by bug is there, it will allow you to select any of the invoice. They should have controlled it. Only to the business units of the legal entity should come here. So that we have created him as a employee user we have created now. Now for further purpose, we need to give username, password, everything, how to create the employee user. After creating the employee user, the user needs to be assigned to have it. One second. Hello. చెప్పారు చూశాను క్లాస్ తీసుకుంటున్నాను. So now here, first condition is that we should have created a legislative data group that we have created. And afterwards, we have given the HCM legal information we have given there, legal entity information that also we have given. That is the reason why we are able to select the employee to our legal employer. It has been, our legal entity has been converted as legal employer because of the legislative data group we associated with it. So that we have associated. Now the employee user is created. After the employee is created, now we need to assign the supplier role to the employee user. We need to assign the supplier manager role. Supplier manager role to the user. Then only we can create him as a procurement agent. Then only we can create the employee user as a procurement agent. Then only we can create. We need to assign the supplier manager role to the user. We know how to use it. We know how to use it. Navigation. We go to the navigator. Tools. Security console. Users. Select the user. Edit. We need to click on the edit. Add roles. So this is the navigation. We have to create the supplier manager. We have to create we need to assign the supplier manager role to you. For that, we need to go to the navigator. So Avanti 2025. Go to navigator. Tools. security console, users, select the user. So click on edit because we are editing the profile. Select the user, edit, click on edit, then add role. So here supplier manager. Add role membership as supplier manager. You are doing it here. Now the supplier manager is added into the account. So we have added the roles called supplier manager. So supplier manager role is added here. Save. So now save and close. So click on done. Then after doing this, we have to assign the access, provide the access to the users. Manage data access to the users we'll have to give. Whenever we create a new role, we have to assign the data access to the user. Save and close. Click on done. Then we go to the home page. So now next step is that we need to provide data access to the user. We need to provide data access to the user. We need to provide data access to the employee user for the supplier manager role, for the business unit. In the business unit, he has to work, right? So we have to give him the access, data access for the user for the business unit to use the role, supplier manager role. So for this, we know the navigation. Navigation is setup and maintenance, manage implementation project, overview, select the project, manage data access for users. That is the task. Last one is always the task. So navigation, setup and maintenance. We go to the manage data access for the users. Setup and maintenance. So now you go to the manage implementation projects, overview, select the project, manage data access for users or user or users. So click on the task here, manage data access for because you have to given whenever you assign a role, you will have to give him the access also to which context, everything we have seen, how to give that. Manage data access for users. Now you can see that what all the access you have here. You can go to the place here, you can check whether you have given access to this already or not. So this is Avanti. Keep the cursor here on the user account here and also search. Give the username and search. So far you have given only the access to only the existing one is. Data access we have given only to the three applications. So here we have two options. We can users without data access. Here we can check users without data access. Without data access or users with data access. By selecting the respective radio button, give the username and search. System displays all the roles that we have access to, that we have been given access, that we have been given access. If we have selected the radio button, users with data access. If we select the radio button, users without data access, then system displays only the username, role, security context, but not the security context value. Security context value, because you have assigned him the security context value, primary ledger. So it is showing that you have been given access to this ledger. Context is data access set or ledger. So that's why it gives it. Now, because you have not been given there, now you need to assign. Because there is no access for the supplier role, because there is no access for the supplier manager role, we need to assign the data access by clicking on the plus button. So we click on the plus button. We go for the creating the new access to this here. So here we select the username, Avanti. We select the role called, which role? Supplier manager. So security context is the business unit because purchasing is done at the business unit level, and so the security context value. And for the specific business unit, what is the specific business unit we need to have? So that is Avanti USA primary ledger 110, I think. Avanti civil constructions unit, save and close. So we have selected here the specific one, supplier role. We select the username. So here we give the username, role, and security context as business unit. This supplier is connected to the purchasing module. Supplier manager role is for procurement purchasing module, and purchasing application works at the business unit level. That is why we select the business unit as the security context. We are assigning access, we are giving data access for the user to work only in 110 civil association, only in 110 Avanti civil constructions unit. And so we have given the security context value as the specific business unit as 110 Avanti civil constructions. If the user has to work in multiple, right? If the user has to work in multiple business units, so then we will have to add another row. Same way we have to repeat it. If the user has to work in multiple roles in multiple business units, then we need to add another role, another row, and assign the other business unit as security context. Like this, he can work in multiple business units also. Hope we understood. Here we have selected only one business unit. In case he has to work in multiple business units, then you will have to create one more row. Go to the plus button, select Avanti only, then select the role as supplier manager. Then security context is a business unit only. Select the second business unit, third business unit, fourth business unit. Like that, you can assign him to multiple business units you can assign to him. Because no access is there, we have to give the access here for this. So now that's why we have selected only one business unit. That means we are restricting his access to only one business unit. By doing this, we are restricting his access to only one specific business unit. If we want to allow him to work in multiple business units, then we have to assign to him to multiple business units also we need to assign in the same manner what we have given the access to this. So that is what. Now he has been accessed. So now we need to run. Then we run the LDAP. LDAP. Light Directory Access Protocol. The process request to synchronize process request. We'll say stop there. We run the LDAP Light Directory Process in interest. Whenever we make, whenever we assign a new role to the user and provide him data access, we need to run this LDAP process. This process synchronizes the user role, security context, and security context value, and keeps the information, the user information or user access information in the access protocol, LDAP, in the director, in the directory, in the direct. Maintains a record. That means LDAP, LDAP. The access protocol it maintains. So in the directory, it keeps who is the user and what are the roles assigned to him and what is the access to be given to him whenever he logs into the system. It maintains a directory. So in that directory, it will be updated. It will synchronize because you have added a new role. So this is navigation is for this is navigator tools. Here, schedule process, schedule new process, select LDAP, submit. No need to give any parameters. We just submit it there. So navigation. Anytime you add the roles. So now you have added only one role. So now you are giving the LDAP you are running. Again, for working in the payables procurement, we have to give the purchasing roles also we need to give create there. And also in the payables, payable roles. Account receivable roles. Fixed asset roles. So when you do all these, whenever you add any role and provide data access to the user, so you will have to necessarily run this program. You will have to necessarily run this LDAP process. Otherwise, it will not be synchronized. You will not have the data access there. So now I think we have copied it. Yeah, we have already copied it. So save and close. Now go to the done. The, this part is done. If you want to check it again, you can go back and check it after the access is provided to you now. Users with the data access. Now you can select as the Avanti. Now you will find the supplier manager also here. Now you'll find the supplier manager also. You have given the access to him. So it is there in this list. So like this, you can create. Let us copy this instead of that. So after assigning the position, you will see that this is assigned. This we can give another screen so that you will understand. After we give the access to the supplier manager, we find it in the list. After we give the access, data access for supplier manager role, we find that in the list with the security context value. Security context value for which specifically you give the value. So that's why it gives the security context value also we see there after assigning this. Before that, it was not there. So only we have given the access to it. Now we'll run the live directory protocol. We go to the navigator. Done. This is also done. Now we go to the navigator, go to the tools. Yeah, schedule process, schedule new process. So here you can select as LDAP. Just enter it. It will take you to the next one. Select this. Retrieve latest LDAP changes. Means it updates and it will keep in the light directory access protocol control. So now the job, not job set. Click on OK, select it, submit it without any parameters. We don't need to give any parameters. Now 915 is the process request. Refresh it. So it has to be succeeded. It takes a couple of minutes to complete this process. After assigning this, in the procurement, if you go to the procurement on the left side, work area or the procurement, the option, there you will see the supplier creation you will find there because of the supplier manager is given there. It is not run yet or it may have completed in the background. It may take some time. Now, if we go to the procurement here, there is a procurement here. The suppliers is created there. So that means it must have created in the back end. Now you will get the supply. So let us see that LD process is still running. So because it is doing updating all this, not only our particular one, again it will run from the beginning to the end. So our process has been updated, but still we need to wait for this. Yeah, once the process is completed, then we can go for the, it is synchronized. Once the process is synchronized, the request need to be synchronized. The request we submit, the process request we submit should be succeeded, should be succeeded. Then we can find the supplier work area in the procurement offering. Go to navigation, navigator, see the procurement, so the procurement, there you will find this. Now we go to the navigator, select the procurement. There in the procurement we find the suppliers. Because the role is synchronized with that. Before that it was not there. The supplier part of it will not come there. Only CBSO dashboard suppliers can be created now. The access is given for the supplier creation. We we see the suppliers in this area. We see the suppliers here because of the access given to the user for the supplier manager role and running the LDAP by running the LDAP. This LDAP runs automatically by the system at frequent intervals. In order to see the changes immediately, then we have run this LDAP. Even if you do not run it, after 2-3 hours, it may have been changed automatically. It is a continuous scheduled process, right? It cannot run for each and everything. We don't need to run. But now that we want to see the change immediately, we are running the LDAP process here. So now this is synchronized. After this, now that he has got the user has got, now that the employee user is assigned with the supplier manager role, supplier manager role, and given the data access, and the data access is provided for the business unit, we can create him as a procurement agent. So how to create a procurement agent? We know that the to create a procurement agent, the user should be an employee user. So we have linked the implementation user as employee user. We have linked him as the employee user to the legal entity, to the to the Avanti Civil Constructions, Avanti Constructions Company, assigned with the LDG. So we have created him as an employer. We also have assigned the supplier manager role to him, and provided the data access. Why I am repeating this is these are the preconditions. So that's why I'm repeating to you. There also I was told before. Again, also I'm telling that whenever you are not able to create a procurement agent, that means you have not passed through these two stages. So you should have completed these two steps. Then only one we can create him as a procurement agent. So navigation is setup and maintenance, setup and maintenance, manage implementation project, overview, then select the project. So create manage procurement agent. Procurement agent is created per business unit. Is created per business unit. If the employee user has to work as procurement agent for multiple business units, then we need to create him as procurement agent for multiple business units. Multiple business units. That means the user must have been given access, data access to the multiple business units also. That implies that the employee user should also have been given data access for multiple business units. More than one business unit. Unless you are given the data access there, you cannot create him as a procurement agent to multiple business units. But we can create. If he has to work in multiple business units, so we have to create him as procurement agent for the multiple business units. So like that. One business unit can have multiple procurement agents also. One business unit can have multiple procurement agents also. Right? This helps to divide the tasks, to the tasks, allocate the different tasks of procurement to different procurement agents. That means division of labor. So we can say that work can be allocated, work can be distributed, work distribution rather we can say. Instead of division of labor, we can say work distribution, work allocation or work distribution. A specific task to somebody. One task cannot be performed by many people, but each task can be performed by different persons. That's why one business unit can have multiple procurement agents also. The same agent can work as for multiple business unit also. That's what it is. You need to understand. So then we go to the navigation here, procurement agent, go to the home page. So you go to the task user ID, setup and maintenance, manage implementation project, overview, select the project, manage procurement agent. So because I said this is specific, manage procurement agent is specific to a business unit, it is asking us to select the scope. So if you want to create him for the second business unit, here you need to change the business unit from 110 to 120 and create him in the same manner. Now go to task. Business unit is already selected. So for this 110 business unit only, we are creating him as the procurement agent. So now here click on the plus button to create. See here, it is asking for the business unit specifically because specific to business unit. So now here we will say that 110 Avanti business unit, Avanti civil construction. Because the procurement agent we are creating is this one. Who is the procurement agent? The user, right? The employee user is the procurement agent. So now Avanti we have created as employee user here. So now here Avanti at gmail.com. Now see here Avanti at gmail.com is coming because we have converted him as the employee user. So employee details are there. So now default requisition business unit also by default he will get it always. If he is assigned to multiple business units, then you will have to select it, the particular business unit here, multiple thing like. So then in the procurement department, we may have to use the printers extensively because you have to send the RFQs, then you will have to raise the purchase orders, print out the purchase orders and send. So those printing activity will be there in the procurement department. So for them, for this user, which printer he can use it, the default printer also we can select him. This we cannot select here because the application is a cloud application and server is in the cloud. So we cannot set anything regarding the server changes we cannot make. That's why we need to raise a service request to Oracle. Oracle will attend to our service request and they will put the default printer. Printer configuration, printer setup will be done by the Oracle Corporation because it is a cloud application. So we will leave it blank. Now we have created him as a procurement agent, and one procurement agent has to have these are the functions that one can perform. But does not necessary that every agent will have to be given perform all these activities. If it is a small company, we can assign him all the jobs. One can perform all the jobs. Or if it is a big company, one cannot cope up with the work. So that's why we will assign him only a few tasks, manage negotiations. That's also part of the purchasing activity, right? Manage sourcing programs, manage catalog contents, manage suppliers. So like this. Definitely to create a supplier site, one should have been created. The manage suppliers must be there. The procurement agent, he must be a procurement agent and he must have this function enabled for us to create a supplier site. For us to create a supplier site, this manage suppliers function should have been enabled. For any reason for this user, we have not enabled this, we cannot create the supplier site. So that's why we need to ensure that the manage supplier site checkbox is enabled for him. So like this, we can understand that we can assign him some functionalities or all the functions also can be assigned to the procurement user. In that case, we will have to enable the checkboxes. We will enable the checkboxes for which activities the user is allowed to perform. The employee procurement agent used to perform those functions we will enable there. The procurement agent can perform is specific to a business unit. The procurement agent is specific to a business unit. So here we can select the agent name only if the user is an employee user. We assign a default business unit. To default if the user is created as a procurement agent for more than one business unit. One B. By default, it will come. Printer setup will be done by the Oracle. For printer setup, we raise a service request to Oracle because the servers are maintained by them. Printer setup is to be configured in the server. Printer setups need to be configured in the server only. That's why we raise a service request. A procurement agent can perform either all the tasks listed here or he can be confined to only a few tasks by enabling only those few tasks. Only those few tasks will enable it. Then the procurement agent, the access to other agents' documents says the access to other agents' documents authorizes the procurement agent or controls documents controls the access of the access to the documents created by other procurement agents. Suppose we are the procurement agent. Now Avanti is the procurement agent for this. Can Avanti user can go and do the access others documents, yes or no? Others documents also you can go read or change, do any modifications, whether you are given access to access others documents also or not. That is the company's policy. Depending upon the company's policy, we can opt for none, means no access, or so we can select the read only, write only. Like that, you can have the access. So now we have got the view only or full access. View or full, or view means read only, or full, both read and write. Right, modification. Modifications also we can do that. So that access will be given to this, depending upon the company policy only we can give that. So now that he has been created as a user, as a procurement agent, save and close. So now he has been created as a procurement agent. Now that he is created as a procurement agent, has been created as a procurement agent, he can create the supplier side. Now that he has created, we can create the supplier section. That is the reason why we wanted to go for. Supplier is created at three levels: supplier level, supplier profile, supplier address, and supplier site. If this exercise has not been done, we cannot create him as a supplier sites cannot be done. If supplier site cannot be done, we cannot raise purchase orders, or we cannot make the payment also. We cannot enter his invoices in the payables also. They are specific to the supplier and they are specific to the supplier site. That's what it is. Any doubts here, Mr. Virish? Did you understand? You need to go through it. You need to practice it once. Then it will be very, very clear for you. I have given you every screenshot here. You can follow the same and practice it. Then you will understand. You need to just understand what is required for that. What is the precondition? What are the steps? That's all. This is important topic. You need to cover it. You need to practice it once or twice. Have you started practicing?
Yes, sir. Yesterday started.
Okay.
As of now, no doubts. I'll come back to you for
No problem.
doubts.
Any issues are there, you can just WhatsApp me also. I will look into it and I will give you the answers.
Sure, sir.
May not be immediately because I may have classes. Once I am free, I will look into it.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Okay. Take care. We'll see tomorrow morning.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Take care. Bye.